Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a little bit of a throwback. Back in March, me and Andie flew down to Georgia with the intention of going to the Appalachian Trail. Neither of us have been there before. We really wanted to go. It was on both of our bucket lists, and well, we had some time off, so we decided to take advantage of it. The reason why I'm posting this so late is that I was 8 weeks pregnant at the time, maybe 9. This was during the time I was in complete exhaustion. I don't even know how I got through the trail. It's still a mystery to me, but when I came back, it was just too much for me to even turn on the computer. All I did was eat because of necessity and go to work because I have to, and then sleep. All I did was sleep for like 3 months. So now into my second trimester, I have energy again, and I fell asleep at midnight, woke up at 4, and here we are a little bit past sunrise, and I was like, yes, I am going to film and edit and get this video out to you guys. So after the video, I'm going to tell a wonderful story of the worst hotel I've ever been to. Like, it was straight up out of the movies. It was so bad. So stick around for that, because it was, I don't have words. I just have to tell you the story, and then you can understand for yourself. If you can't tell, I've had like a lot of caffeine today, so I'm kind of like rambly a lot. So I'm going to put a timestamp below of the start of the hotel story, because if you get anything out of this video, you have to hear this story. It was just so bad. Like, it was so bad. And without further ado, here we go. Springer Mountain via Appalachian Trail is located in the Blue Ridge Wildlife Management Area in Georgia. It is a 10-mile, 1,860-foot elevation gain, moderately leveled loop. There are rhododendrons everywhere, but unfortunately they hadn't bloomed yet. Prior to today, I read Grandma Gatewood's Walk by Montgomery. The book is about Emma Gatewood, who was the first woman to walk the trail solo at 67 years old. She was also the first person to do the trail both 2 and 3 times over. I could not do what this woman did. The 10 miles that I walked absolutely destroyed me, and I can't believe she did this at her age. She's a total and utter inspiration. I'll link the book in the description box. Here we got to see the starting point for thru hikers doing the Appalachian Trail. The thru hike for the Appalachian Trail is 2,000 miles. People usually start here and end the trail in Mount Katahdin in Maine. Emery Creek Falls is a 6-mile, 900-foot elevation gain, moderately trafficked out and back trail. We only made it 3/4 of a mile into the trail because the creek was too high for us to cross to complete the trail. We actually crossed paths with a group that was coming back from the creek whose leader had lost a shoe trying to cross. So today, me and Andie decided to split up. I was not in great shape after the day before's hike, and she was training to hike the Grand Canyon, so she definitely wanted to do something more than I could handle. So we decided that I would drop her off at a trail, and then I drove down to a nearby smaller trail, and then I was going to be done before her or close to the same time, and then I would go and pick her up, and then we would do one last small trail together. Benton McKaye to Stanley Gap Trail is 2.6 miles with 670-foot elevation gain, is heavily trafficked, and is an out and back loop. I got about halfway through the trail, and again, the creek was too high to cross. This trail was very heavily trafficked when I was there. There were so many people in the creek and walking along. This kind of trail isn't usually up my alley, but it was still beautiful to be there. So I was very happy that I beat Andie to our meeting point so that she didn't have to wait that long and then feel like she was stranded. Near the entrance, I found this little spot here and decided to sit on one of the trees and just kind of hang out. It was super nice and peaceful here. I waited for her maybe about 10 minutes. Noontoola Creek Trail is 2.5 miles, has a 200-foot elevation gain, is lightly trafficked, and is out and back trail. The trail follows the creek most of the way, and then 80% through is a waterfall. Maybe it's a cascade. We couldn't really decide if it was a waterfall or cascade. We sat down and decided to have a little snack here before heading back home. The weird part about this trail was that it just kind of ends. There's still an obvious trail that continues on, but when I looked at the GPS, like wondering like how far along, like does the trail continue? Like we had already passed the end of the trail and like didn't even know, like there were no markers or anything, and you could just keep going. I am so happy I was able to go onto the Appalachian Trail. Like last year we did the Rockies, and then after we did the Rockies, we were like, we need to do the Appalachian. Okay, so story of the worst hotel ever. I put notes on this. Let me grab my phone real fast and like get my notes out just so I don't forget anything. I know I'm like putting so much hype on this, but before I forget, because I forget everything right now, I've recently become an affiliate with Travel Prodigy. They're a website that sells hiking gear and apparel, and they even have stuff for dogs if you're taking them with you. They reach out to me on Instagram, and when I looked through their stuff, I totally loved it. My favorite part of them is that 25% of their revenue actually goes into charity that will help fund groups that support wildlife and animals and nature, which I thought was amazing. That's 25%, not 2.5%, not 0.25%, no, like 25%. Even if I spend a few extra dollars buying one of their t-shirts instead of going on eBay and getting it for a lower price, at least it's going to something that's going to be worthwhile. I think that's really what got me on this. So I'll link their website below along with a coupon code so you get a percentage off. And yeah, I hope you like it as much as me. I am super excited about this. I ordered a couple t-shirts from them. They're on their way right now. So when they do, I will definitely be posting them up on my Instagram because they were super cute. And when I looked on their website, I was like, yes, this is the shirt that I want. Like, I'm just like, ooh, I kind of girled out a little bit. Oh, we got a general cameo. Best boy. He was napping for a while. Now he's yawning. Soon he will play with his toys. Without further ado, the story of the worst hotel ever. It all started when we checked in. So I was in charge of booking the hotel and I booked the 2 nights through hotels.com. So we go and check in and the guy who was there was like super nice, looks through the computer and says, I don't have your reservation. I pulled up my phone and it showed it. I had the confirmation and everything. And he's like, well, it's not coming up through here. So I was like, okay, whatever, but I mean, here's the confirmation, it's already went through. And he's like, well, there's plenty of rooms. This was during COVID. Like, the entire place was empty. I think there was a total of 2, maybe 3 cars in like this whole place. And so he goes and gives me the paperwork and everything's fine. And I give him a different card thinking that like, yeah, he's using my confirmation code or whatever. And then we go to the room. We walk into this room and it is a non-smoking room and smells like smoke. Like, smells like straight up smoke. Like, the blankets smell like smoke. Andy goes into the bathroom and then comes back out and she goes, oh my god, this bathroom is disgusting. It's gross. There was like hair in the tub. And I was just like, ew, that is super gross. And I'm like, okay, like for real, I can go and see if we can get a different room. Like, I don't know what happened here, but it's odd. And so she was tired too and she's like, no, 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 we put all of our stuff in here already. Like, forget it. Like, let's just go to bed. So the next morning we wake up super early and I don't know if I can go hiking at all today. Like, my legs were so sore. And so we discussed driving down to Atlanta for today, maybe going to see the botanical garden, maybe going to the zoo or the aquarium. And so Andy was like, yeah, I don't want to stay in this hotel another night. So I called down to the front desk and told them the situation. Like, yeah, we plan to check out early. Can I do that and get a refund for the money? And I gave him my name and I gave him my room number. So he asked me how I booked the hotel and I told him through hotels.com. He was like, so if you book through a website, we follow the refund policy of the website, so you need to contact them to see if you can get a refund. So I call hotels.com and they tell me that they follow the policy of whatever the place is. So I call them back and told them that they follow the policy of whatever you guys do. And so he said, well, if you book 2 days, then you don't get your money back. Like, you have to stay the 2 days. And so we were super disappointed about that. So we decided we were going to split up. I was going to do a smaller trail while Andy does a larger trail, and then we should meet up around the same time and then maybe have time for one smaller trail and then be done. Okay, so fast forward past all of that. And we are now done. It's about 6 o'clock and we come back. So we go to our room, I bring out the key, and all of a sudden the key's not working. I'm like, okay, that's happened to plenty of places. Like, something happened to like the card reader, like the scanny thing. And I was just like, okay, we're gonna run out front and then, you know, get a new card and be done with it. Oh, and let me backtrack for just 1 second. The person I talked to on the phone was not the same person as I checked in with. And the other thing the guy had said that over the phone was that I could wait for the manager to come in and he would be there at 2 to see if he would let me check out early. And we were like, we're not gonna wait here until 2 p.m. to find out if we can stay or not. Like, that's a totally wasted day. Like, forget it, we're just gonna stay here. Okay, so I go down to the front desk and it's the guy who had checked me in the night before. And so I go up to him and I'm like, hey, my key isn't working. I need a new key. And he looks at me and he goes, I was wondering when you were going to be back. And I was like, why? And so he said, your checkout was at 11 a.m. this morning and it's now 6 p.m. And I was like, what do you mean my checkout's at 11 today? My checkout is at 11 tomorrow. I booked for 2 nights. And he was like, no, when you checked in last night, I only charged you for 1 day. And I'm like, what are you talking about? My reservation was for 2 days. And he goes, oh, I couldn't use the online reservation, so I just charged you 1 day. It was on your receipt. Why would I have looked at the receipt to make sure it was 2 days? So I said, okay, if that's the case, we called this morning to ask to cancel for today's reservation and he told me I couldn't. I gave him my name and my room number. I'm very confused right now. And he goes, well, you're only there for the 1 day. And I'm like, okay, well then I don't want to rebook. Like, well, we're gonna drive down to Atlanta and stay in Atlanta then tonight. And so he's like, yeah, that would be fine, but you left your stuff in your room past checkout time. Your checkout time was 11 and it's now 6 o'clock. I have to charge you $100 for the second night because your stuff was there and we couldn't use the room. You couldn't use the room. There's one less car than there was the day before. Don't tell me y'all booked. Y'all didn't even clean the room before we got there. That's how unbusy you are. Like, I don't know what y'all doing, but are you kidding me right now? We kind of go back and forth on it, and then he's like, there's really nothing I can do. I was just like, okay, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm sore, I'm hungry. Like, fine, forget it, forget it, forget it. So I go and tell Andie what happened, and of course she's upset too. Like, she did not want to stay there, and I don't blame her. And the funny thing is, I soon learned why she hated it even more than I did. We go back into the room and I was like, all right, I have to take a shower. So I go into the bathroom and mind you, when I used it that morning, like, it was still kind of dark and I didn't have the lights on, so I kind of didn't see what was going on in there. But now the lights are on and oh dear, it looks like there's a blood smear on the wall across from the toilet. When I came back out, I was like, Andie, you should have told me that there was like blood on the wall. Like, why the fudge are we staying here? And so she's like, oh yeah, did you see it on the toilet too? And I'm like, what? And she goes, yeah, on the front of the bowl. And sure enough, on the front of the bowl, there was like another blood smear. And I was like, oh my God, we're sleeping in a biohazard. Like, what happened? What is this? And so I was like, I mean, I can go complain to the guy, like try to get us out of here. And then Andie was just so fed up and tired, and I was fed up and tired, and we're just like, you know what? Just go to sleep. We're leaving in the morning. Like, just forget it. So the next morning we wake up early, and the best part happens. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. We have to be at the airport at 6 o'clock for our flight that's at 7 or 8. I don't remember. I pack up all of our stuff, put everything on, are about to walk out the door. I cannot make this up. I can't even exaggerate this. As we're walking the like 2 steps to the door, a cockroach comes down from the ceiling towards the only exit. And he's heading straight for the door handle. Our only means of escaping. This bug is racing us for the door handle to escape. Like, one, I was in shock. Like, I don't know why I was in shock. I mean, why wouldn't there be a cockroach at this point with everything else that's happened? And fight or flight mode kicked in and I ran to the door handle. It was a photo finish, me grabbing the door handle and just swinging the door open as fast as I could. And as, like, the door is barely off the hinge, the whatever, like, that's pressed upon, the cockroach goes right into the door frame, right where the handle was. He was going for it. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? We're both freaking out. Andie is beyond, I've never seen Andie upset before. Like, I've never seen this. I've known her for a few years. Always happy, always fine. Like, that was it. She was so mad. I was like, okay, I kind of want to laugh a little bit. But we proceeded to run through the door to leave because we didn't know where the cockroach was once it hit the door frame. Like, I don't know, could have like been on the top and like fallen on us. Like, that was the day we were already having at 4 a.m. I can't believe that all happened. I can't believe that all happened within 48 hours of the same place. Like, I feel like this should have been like 5 separate hotel stories getting meshed into one. No, this was one. Now, ain't you glad you stuck around for that story? Wasn't that unbelievable? I cannot stress this enough. I did not exaggerate anything. So, if you didn't like this video yet, and you enjoyed that story, because I know you had to, go click that like button. Okay, last thing before I set you guys free to the rest of your day. I did start a new blog recently. I mentioned it in my last video, but I actually have it like up and running right now and am trying to keep up like on having like more stories out for you guys. Anyway, I'm gonna put the link down below for my blog so you can check it out. It also gets automatically posted to my Facebook feed, which I will link down below. And my Facebook feed is also linked to my Instagram account, which I'll also link below. You should follow all of them. They all have similar but different things going on. All super fun. You know, little enjoyment, little sparkle to your day. And with that, it is time for me to say goodbye. Bye!